All right, I've got my friend Dr. Dana Kuhn here with me. Dana, it's so good to see you today. Thank you so much for joining us with the Spring Leadership Weekend.
Thanks, Jonathan. Great to participate vicariously and virtually, you know.
Well, this weekend we're talking a lot about leadership, right? And I think, man, when I think about people living with hemophilia and people who are leaders, there is just no other person that comes to mind that has led in the same way that you've led in both in our community, but also just in life. You have made such a tremendous impact in your life and led not only yourself, but led in ways that have been groundbreaking for people and for our community and for a lot of disease states with the lessons that you learned through navigating hemophilia. And so I just want to say a big thank you for being willing to share your wisdom with us and being able to be here with us today. And as we're kind of unpacking that box, I guess people always, want to learn a little bit more about the leader, right? I mean, I think people know about your experience with starting PSI and really creating the model that became premium assistance for so many disease states, not just hemophilia, but cancer and, all these other different spaces that now is a commonplace thing now. And, at this season in your life, when you look back and reflect on those times, I'd love to hear from you just some of the things what inspired you to start giving your life away. What was it that really made you and was the impetus for really going through the struggles you went through and learning the lessons, but also wanting to give that back to people?
Wow, Jonathan, that's a a real heavy discussion right there. And again, we could probably take up a lot of time doing that, but I think getting down to the reason why. And I think it's always been in my nature, being even a former minister in a former life before tragedy hit my life. I think I've always cared about people, cared about helping them become successful, and just getting a joy out of that, and just realizing, the potential that people have, all people, and I've really truly loved doing that. And after my first wife passed away, that was a tragic experience, and some people know the story. And if you don't know the story, you can go to Bad Blood, A Cautionary Tale, and you can see it there. But I think after she passed away, I needed to do something. I needed to do something because I realized that there were injustices, and we had to do something to protect this community. I think advocacy became part of my life at that point, and I realized I had to do something.
I think one of the things we've heard a lot from leaders throughout this weekend has been that idea that giving back is serving others is the greatest form of leadership. And you just said that too, is that finding a way to really help others be successful has been what maybe other people call leadership, but in the moment that can seem a little bit uncertain. I mean, that's not really your target, right? I mean, your target is, hey, I'm just trying to help people. At what point did you decide, like, I'm going after this? I'm gonna really give myself to fighting for other people and trying to make change in this area?
I'm a solution-oriented person. I like to find solutions.
Yeah.
I don't like to gripe about things, and if I gripe about things, I have to make sure I'm griping towards a solution, because otherwise that goes nowhere. So I really felt this burden that if people didn't have a voice, someone's got to be a voice for them. People would always write to me and tell me, this is what we need to do, but I understood and respected they didn't want to move forward because they were afraid. And at that point, I felt like, you know what, I have nothing to lose here.
Wow.
But the main thing is I had a purpose, and the purpose was to see the wrong that was done to this community and to seek a reasonable justice, but more so than justice, a change. Because if you don't change something, you know, it has a tendency to happen over and over and over again. You want to change something.
That's good. How did you have the courage to really keep pushing the envelope and keep going when there was so much interference there?
Well, yeah, it's disappointing when people don't understand what you're seeing and where you see this is going to go. And, you know, they are naysayers. It is disappointing and it can be discouraging. But I think there are two things here. One, I knew what was right.
So
And when you know what is right, you fight for it. And then the other is, I look at it this way: leaders have to have vision. Vision. Because where there is no vision, the people perish. I just stuck with the vision. I knew where we should be. And I, for some reason, became a leader that would want to take people to the mountaintop. I want people to be successful.
That's so good. It took a great deal of courage for you to keep the pressure, like you said, on the vision and keep going down that road. And again, I just want to say thank you and applaud you for all the work that you did with that and really changing that for the whole community. Because I don't think our history as a community in the U.S. would be the same if it had not been for your courage.
Thank you, Jonathan. I think the other part I wanted to just bring up, because you asked me earlier about PSI. I mean, PSI was to me was just a godsend. It was something that happened out of just, again, advocating and caring about people. I looked at what was the need that people had and how do I meet that need? And so PSI, you know, I worked for it for the 29 years and created it and built it, and it just grew tremendously.
I know with a lot of the work that we do as, you know, Hope for Hemophilia and Hope Charities, there's so much of we just have this, you know, burning desire to help families that are going through financial crisis with, you know, helping them with their house note or utility bills or, you know, other types of needs that they have, communication, transportation. You know, I think people don't understand because they don't see it, and that's okay. But I want, you know, we see day in and day out, Dana, you know this because you've seen the statistics, but day in and day out, we see people that are either homeless or near homelessness, living with hemophilia. I mean, hemophilia is hard enough to manage when you have all the tools you need. But when you can't even get your drugs delivered at home where it's treated at because you don't have an address, that presents a whole different kind of problem. And people throughout the US, I mean, I can't even tell you how often we see those types of cases, but you know, that's the burning desire that we have. There's a whole new set of things that we need leaders to get involved today, to take the risks necessary to fight those battles, because it is critical that we help each other. If we don't have each other, we really don't have anything.
You know, Jonathan, I'm so excited about Hope for Hemophilia, and I want to let people know that, you know, even though I love PSI, I created it, I really love Hope for Hemophilia and the work it does, because, you know, you're meeting what I call emergency relief. That's what you're doing. There are people who always have a time in their life, or will meet a time in their life, where they need emergency relief. Everybody, probably you and I are talking to today, has had one time in their life where they had needed emergency relief. And it's always great to have someone there to be able to help you through that time. And once you make it through that time, more than likely you have not only the encouragement to move forward, but also a possible solution. And I really would encourage companies, I don't care if they're corporate America or they're pharmaceuticals or especially pharmacies or, you know, whoever, to continue to donate to Hope for Hemophilia, because I've seen the hundreds of lives that you have changed. And you're right. And you know, it's heartbreaking when you can't meet every need that you have. And you know, you're taking people on bases of how dire are their needs. Everybody's need is dire in their own perspective, but sometimes, you know, it's almost like you have to decide, this person's going to lose their home if I don't do this. This person is not going to get a life-saving medicine if I do this. You know, and those are tough decisions to make. And wouldn't it be nice to have the funds to be able to meet all those needs? And, you know, it can happen. It can happen if people would just give to an organization like yours. It is a very needed organization in not only times like this, but for all times. And it needs to be an organization that is supported by not only our community, but by corporations all over the United States. I mean, that's what I like to see. I like to see changes that take place, a change that happens in a person's life because you were there at their time of need and gave them the hope and the encouragement that they needed to realize that they're not forsaken. There are lights at the end of the tunnel, you know, silver linings in a cloud, what all those cliches you can say, but it's really that there is a God that is helping people move forward and going to meet their needs. And that to me is what it's all about. And that's why I love Hope for Hemophilia. I'll support Hope for Hemophilia. I'll encourage people to support Hope for Hemophilia because of the work that you are doing that is bringing, and there's no better word, hope to people when they are at their lowest point in life.
Wow. Well, I'm so grateful for your leadership and your kindness towards us. You know, you've been a real mentor to me personally, and just to our organization, helping us to, you know, get at different crossroads, get things, you know, organized and put together in a way that makes sense. But I just I can't thank you enough for the sacrifices that you've made long before I was at this, and it was even a vision.
Are you calling me old, Jonathan?
Not at all. I'm calling you mature, Dan. Mature.
Yes. Growing older gracefully.
Right. There you go. There you go. But no, I do. I'm just so grateful. Thank you for really on behalf of the whole community, because I don't think that people who've made the sacrifices to do the things that have been you know, done in years past, I don't think that they get the praise that they're deserved. You know, we oftentimes might get an award or do a presentation maybe once, or a video, something. But gosh, man, I just think about all of the mornings that you woke up and said, man, I just do not feel like doing this today. And you did it anyway. You went up against all odds. And that happened for hundreds of days and years at a time, and without accolades and praise along the way. And so we could stand here and thank you every day for the rest of you know, your retirement, and still owe you some. So I'm just grateful for all that you've done, and not just for the community, but also for us, and for me personally. It's meant a lot, and we're so grateful for all that you've done, Dana.
Thank you, Jonathan.
We're doing our best to help where we can. And like you said earlier, it is all about serving people. And that is what is still a driving, you talk about vision. To me, that's still the vision. That's still the dream is, man, there's just so many people out there that are hurting
Yeah.
and they're lonely and they need a family and they need support. And I've been blessed with friendships like yours and amazing support system in my own personal family, that it's my dream to give all that away. So we just keep paying it forward, I guess.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for carving out time to be with us this weekend, and I certainly look forward to talking with you again soon.
Well, thank you.
All right.
And I wish the best for the weekend, and hopefully new leaders will arise out of your leadership training.
Yes. All right, great. Well, we'll see you soon. Thanks, Dana.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.